Hi, welcome back. In this video, we will explore why adult children cut ties from loving parents and 3 keys to manage your grief. Hi, I'm Marie Morin. I'm a therapist and a wellness coach. Let's get started. Children saying, what is the research telling us, okay? What's the change in cultural norms? What can parents do to reconnect? And 3 things to help us manage our grief. Okay, so family relationships are some of the most enduring bonds. In fact, we know that people that have family relationships that are healthy do well overall in their mental health and physical health. But when an adult child chooses to estrange themselves from their parents, and many parents are saying, look, I wasn't toxic. There's a lot of pain, confusion, a lot of question seeking. What happened? What's going on? So there's a lot of unanswered questions, right? And today we're going to explore the intricate reasons beyond the estrangement, backed by research, of course, and we're going to find relief, healing, and understanding. Many of you might be feeling sideswiped. You just don't get it, right? You did all the things with your kids. You provided a safe environment. You took them to activities. You made sure they were active with their friends. You showed up for them with their stuff. You thought you were talking to them, but you were available. And now all these different things are coming up and you're saying, I was a regular parent. I did what I knew to do. In fact, the things that I did were so much better than my parents, and I don't understand. I never would have done this to my parents, and now my kids are doing this to me. This is a lot of what I'm hearing. So we're going to unravel this a bit. I want you to just hang on to your seat because I'm going to talk about some stuff that adult children are saying, and many of you, when I say it, you're like, oh my God, you're blaming the parents, and that's not it. I'm reporting on what adult children are saying because I believe it empowers us to understand what the atmosphere is around estrangement. Did you know that family estrangement impacts 27% of families in the United States? And it's a growing phenomenon that leaves parents and children alike feeling very emotionally wounded. And the reasons for estrangement are rarely simple and often far beyond issues of toxicity. So what's the research telling us? All right, Kylie Agalias, she's a researcher, and what she did was write this book, great book, Family Estrangement, A Matter of Perspective. So Kylie Agalias found that estrangement is rarely about one single conflict, and often stems from a lot of things like unmet needs, unresolved conflict. Her study revealed that estranged adult children, they don't make the decision lightly, okay? They report feelings of empathy for their parents, even as they stepped away. And these decisions were never done lightly, okay? In my video, 11 Reasons Why Adult Children Cut Ties, Part 1 and 2, I review many researched reasons why there's cutoffs, okay? They include divorce, separation, parental alienation, partner influence, mental illness, differing values and gender, partner and orientation, too close, unmet expectations, influence of therapy, financial matters, poor communication, secrets. Okay, so those were the 11 that I discussed. For many adult children, estrangement begins with a deep sense of disconnection in childhood. They often describe feeling emotionally unsupported or like they truly didn't belong in the family. And this could stem from physical disconnection, such as growing up in a divorced household, emotional disconnection where a parent was present but not attuned to their needs, almost like they were listening, but not quite enough for what the child needed, okay? And over time, it made them feel sort of out of the family as opposed to belonging to the family. And what they describe is this sensation of, look, these things are compounded and it's just too difficult to mend this relationship. I want to make a special note here for many of the adult children that I have treated who come to me because they say, you know what, Maria, it feels like you have a very balanced look at what estrangement is. And I thank them for their perspective. In fact, the goal as a therapist is to be able to see things outside of just what you're seeing, meaning you're looking for other things that aren't said. And what a lot of adult children are saying and implying in their communication with me is, hey, I don't really feel like my parents get me. I kind of feel like they're not connected to who I am as a person, and I have these deeper needs and I feel misunderstood. Some of you listening might be saying, you know what, I did all these things. I was there for my kid. I didn't do this. I was there. I did work a lot, but as much as I could, I was present for my children. And I will tell you that, are there cases where parents do the best that they can? Here's what I'm noticing. Often there is a lot of over giving, meaning the parents gave a lot. They gave them a lot of opportunity. They were there. And many of these children felt disconnected for one reason or another. My theory is, and some of it is based on research and some of it is anecdotal from the people that I see, is that many of these adult children were looking for something their parents didn't give them because of personality differences. And here's what I'm talking about. For example, the mom might be very communicative, but in ways that are a bit critical, not always toxic, but a bit critical. Like, do you think you want to do that? Or you should try this instead of that. And this to me is a transitional state where parents, when they're adolescents, kids want to start this whole thing where they're off doing their thing and parents give them the reins more instead of having a say in everything. And that's where a lot of breakdown occurs. All right, does that make sense? And some of you call this kids are entitled. And I wouldn't go that far because I think often that they're looking for emotional connection that they didn't get because of the miscommunication where the parents felt very actively involved in their life, but it had a lot to do with involved in shaping their young adult. Does this make sense? Tell me what you think in the comments. Okay, so we're going to just briefly go over defining abuse, betrayal, and neglect. Why? Because you're going to define whether this has to do with you or not. So here's the factors that go beyond this toxicity. While outright toxicity is a clear cause, and we're talking about people that are very, very damaging, and this does happen. And obviously I go over that, but there's excessive contact or dependence, and they feel overwhelmed when parents rely heavily on them, especially as they age or face health challenges, and about this striking a balance between independence and support is key. Another thing they're saying is enmeshment. Look, there's no boundaries. My parents don't have boundaries. Anything goes. They come over whenever they want. They call me a lot. They don't really give me a lot of opportunity to just be an adult without them saying anything, and our identities are enmeshed. So differing values, right? Like clashes between beliefs, religion, their relationship choices, whether they want to be straight or gay, all of these things. Now, and then there's parental alienation, and divorce is a huge problem. In many cases, when there's been hostility between the two parents, it just creates a lot of havoc for the kid. Some kids get through it, they're okay. They hurt, but they seem to get through it and they can retain relationships, and some kids just can't. And we also know about parental alienation when one parent paints the other parent in a very negative light. And then there's life cycle choices like major transitions like marriage, having children, or losing a loved one. It brings underlying tensions to the surface, okay? And when things get chaotic, it's pretty tough. So communication patterns can play a role, okay? So families that argue a lot and don't really get to resolve things. Research shows that ineffective communication patterns underlie estrangement. Families that avoid resolving conflict, they don't apologize, or they are highly critical, create an environment ripe for discontent, okay? And we know that we're in a culture of self-preservation. I don't know anybody that wants to go into difficult circumstances. Avoidance is a form of coping, and that happens as well. And it could happen for parents, it could happen for adult children. I want to pause here to just remind all the adult children that come in and haven't watched any of the body of work that's available, that there are cases where there has been abuse, neglect, and toxic treatment, and the only way for you to maintain a place of safety is to estrange. And I get it. And I am not saying that you should not preserve yourself. I'm simply bringing up the fact that these differences have made a difference in whether families remain intact. And you know, many of you who are estranged adult children that would be saying, you know what, Marie, that's me. I had this. I had toxicity, very high toxicity. My parents were narcissists. There was parental alienation. It was a chaotic mess. I hope that you are safe now. I hope that you are taking care of yourself and that you're making choices that help your mental health. But I also want to speak to parents who have been greatly impacted by adult children who have left them, and they need support right now, because part of the confusion is that they didn't feel like they did these things. They didn't feel like they were toxic. They presently see themselves as having been supportive family members. And so we're unraveling this on both sides. Both sides need to be represented so that we can learn how to understand each other. Cultural shifts towards individualism have also influenced family dynamics. Once familial duty and obligation were deeply ingrained values, today adult children are more likely to prioritize their mental health and well-being, even if it means stepping back from their families. So what can parents do to reconnect? If you've been told no contact, please watch my video, How to Cope When Your Adult Child Has Gone No Contact, Grief and Helplessness. It's episode 163. For parents facing estrangement, it's important to focus on what you can control and reflect on your role. All right, even if you say, you know what, I was a good parent, but reflect, what's gone on? Have you contributed in any way? Is there something that you can recall? What was your kid trying to tell you? Were they trying to say something, but they didn't say it directly? Like, hey, I need more from you. I need more attention. I need more of your being attuned to me, meaning I need you to hear me and get into it with me and understand who I am. Did any of that happen? That's self-reflection. Nobody is blaming anyone right now, but if you can look back and say, you know, there were things that maybe I could have done differently, and I wish I had. That could be a very good thing, all right? You want to seek professional support. Look, there are great therapists out there and support groups that can help you process your grief and develop strategies for reconciliation. You want to find somebody who's an expert in this, someone who knows how to do this delicately, because there are okay ways to approach your adult child when they've cut off from you but haven't said no contact. And then there are things that you could do to actually facilitate a longer, prolonged estrangement. You want to be patient, okay? Rebuilding takes time and effort and trust. Small, consistent actions can show your willingness to repair the relationship. What does this mean? Every now and again, send a text. Hey, I'm thinking of you. Just wanted to say hello. And leave it there. You don't have to do any big thing. If they said no gifts, don't give them any gifts. Just respect their wishes. That's very helpful. While not all estrangement ends in reconciliation, healing is possible, whether it's repairing the bond with your adult child or finding peace within yourself. Every step forward matters, all right? Family relationships are very complex, but understanding the root causes of estrangement can help pave the way for empathy for ourselves and our adult children, and growth, and potentially reconnection. Some of you tell me you feel guilty when your child has cut you off and you're enjoying your life again. All right, I get it. However, depending on where you are in the estrangement journey, all right, you may be on the acceptance train of recognizing what you can control. You can choose to be in perpetual misery. I mean, I hear from a lot of you. You could be in misery indefinitely, or you can say, hey, you know what? I still matter. It's okay if I enjoy myself. I'm okay. All right. I'm okay to move forward. So here's the 3 things we can do when we're grieving. Be mindful. Grieve with mindfulness. We want to be compassionate with ourselves and our adult child. And by the way, there are often things that are extremely stressful for adult children. While they mention, you know, my parents did XYZ, this is what was going on, a lot of other things are occurring as well. So there's pressures in their life, and having empathy for them and yourself can be extremely helpful as you're grieving and as you're healing and moving forward in this acceptance journey. The second thing you want to do is stay social with others who love and value you. If you don't have a support system, you need to get one. Join groups, churches, synagogues, volunteer work, something. And the third thing is prioritize self-care. You want to do the whole self-care routine, all right? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Are you sleeping? What kind of habits do you have? Are you maybe not taking care of yourself? Did you used to exercise and you want to get back into it? Now is the time. You want to get up every morning and get into this mode of, okay, I'm going to do things to take care of myself. I'm going to process my grief. I'm going to be social. I know this is extremely overwhelming, hurtful. And you're saying, Marie, you know, I thought that we were discussing loving parents. Well, I know you were loving parents. You wouldn't be here watching this video looking to get help, to find solutions and answers if you weren't loving. You love your children. Could you have done things differently? Yes, of course you could have. We all could have. There aren't perfect parents. I know some of you adult children hate this, but there aren't parents who don't make errors, who don't do things they wish they hadn't done. However, what needs to happen is a lot of things simultaneously. Taking care of yourself, getting support, remaining around people, learning as much as you can. It's like building up your sense of self while you're going through one of the most pressing things, one of the most challenging things, and remembering that we're here for you. You're not alone. This might be difficult, but it is not hopeless. Why do I say these things? Because you still have a life to live, and your life matters. Getting through the grief, you can do this. Will it be an immediate fix? No. There's no one-size-fits-all fix. There is hope. I just want to thank you for joining us in this exploration of family estrangement. If any of this resonates with you or someone you know, share the video and help spread understanding. Remember, every family story is unique and healing is always worth striving for. We'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to get my ebook. It's in the description box. Feeling Heartbroken and Alone: How to Pick Up the Pieces When You Are Estranged.